Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Whether you are joining us virtually or are physically present in the sanctuary, I welcome you into this day with Quimper Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. My opening words today are adapted from Sherry Woodbury. Out of the din and complexity of our everyday lives, away from the noise of the crowds, we come to rest in this moment, in this place. Set apart from the never-ending to-do lists, embracing this day a time of rest. We come to the warmth and stillness of this sacred hour. Remember, you have chosen to be here. Something in your life led you to arrive here, now. Whatever tasks and cares await you, now, in this brief time, simply rest. Allow your soul to be nurtured. Let the waves in your mind and heart gradually subside. As you come home to yourself, holy and whole, come let us worship together. I'm Dean Carr, and I'm a member of the board here at QUUF. As we gather, I acknowledge that the water, land, and shorelines here in Port Townsend are the traditional territory of the S'Klallam and Chemakum peoples. We honor and acknowledge our indigenous members and neighbors and vow to help restore and sustain these homelands. If you're visiting today, I offer a special welcome and invite you to join us for refreshments and conversation in the fellowship hall after the service. We have a newcomers table near the patio doors where our greeters are ready to answer any questions you might have. Welcome to you all this morning. We're glad you're here. I have one announcement this morning on behalf of the ALSO team. ALSO stands for Advanced Learning and Spiritual Opportunities, and it's QUUF's new growth and learning program. It debuts this fall. In your order of service, you will find a sheet with the information on the program and its 28 offerings. These cover a broad range of topics from Unitarian Universalism to wooden boat building. Sign-ups for members will start on September 8th and for the general public on September 14th. A brochure and sign-up links will be appearing in the QUUF website homepage soon. I'm not sure that it's there quite yet. And a paper brochure will be available on the 8th. And now to begin our service, let us settle our minds and calm our hearts.
Good morning. Y'all surprise me on the regular, you know? I was like looking out there 10 minutes ago and I was like, it's going to be a lighthouse. Not many people are showing up. That's okay, you know? You show up. I appreciate it. Our opening words from Joe Von Roo. Welcome to this space, this sanctuary of peace, where we come not only to create a beloved community. We come together today as individuals, much like individual pieces of glass or pottery that are of different shapes, sizes, and colors, all of which are broken with imperfect, jagged edges, but always beautiful. While our pieces may not always fit neatly together, it is within this sanctuary that we gather together to create a beautiful mosaic. May the brokenness and beauty you find in one another create peace in this space and fill our hearts with love as we create worship together. It is good to be here together this morning. Will you join me in the chalice lighting words? We ignite this flame, symbol of our faith, to beckon us into community, warm our hearts with love, and give us a light to follow as we carry our faith into action. Let's join in singing our opening song. It is number 347 in the Gray Hymnal. If you'd like to follow along, gather the spirit, and we'll sing verses 1 and 2. The words will be projected.
Gather the Spirit, harvest the power, our separate fires will kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour, our trials in this flight appear all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in love, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit of heart and mind, seeds for the sowing are laid in store, nurtured in love and conscience refined, with body and spirit united once more. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in love, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again.
We pause for a moment of generosity to receive an offering to support the life and ministry of QUUF. The ushers will come among you to receive the offering, and additional ways for giving will be projected. Please join me in our offering words. This fellowship is the community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm our lives within it.
This time is set aside for us to share our joys and sorrows. We recognize that our personal joys and sorrows are only a small part of the joys and sorrows of the larger community of life. And so we're placing our first stone today celebrating the dedication of a statue of civil rights activist and Congressman John Lewis. Isn't that awesome? I heard this on the way to church this morning, and I was like, dang, we have got to celebrate that. So it's just another piece of it is that it replaces a Confederate monument that stood there. So it's just wonderful. If you get a chance to check NPR, they have Raphael Warnock was there to dedicate it. So good. We light a candle to celebrate Helen Oakland, who with her husband Jim was a valuable member of QUUF for many years. Jim died in 2022, and Helen has now made the decision to join her daughter in Australia. And at the age of 89, will be heading off on that adventure in mid-September. Helen was one of the fiber artists who helped create the many banners that hang here in our sanctuary. We place a stone for Jess Schumacher, who broke her leg 2 weeks ago while exploring tide pools at Salt Creek. And we light a candle of joy that she did not hit her head as she fell. Here's a really good one, too. We light a candle for Peg Hunter and Patrick Johnson, whose daughter Tia and her husband Mark are expecting their first baby in January after 4 years of infertility treatment. What a blessing. They are filled with joy for the kids and gratitude that they live in a state where IVF is available. It's a busy week. We light a candle of support and relief for member Anna Wolf, whose home is at the edge of the Jupiter fire. We're thankful for the rain, thankful she was able to bring her evacuated animals home and is safe with all of them. A joy, and also we acknowledge the amount of trauma that went into moving her animals and the danger she faced. And we place a final stone, holding in our hearts and thinking of these joys and sorrows, and also all the joys and sorrows that remain unspoken in our hearts. Thank you. I invite you to settle in a bit. Maybe close your eyes and release your shoulders. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for a time of just contemplation, reflection, meditation, prayer. We'll start with these words by Gretchen Haley. Give up the fight for some other moment, some other life than here and now. Give up the longing for some other world, the wishing for other choices to make, other songs to sing, other bodies, other ages, other countries, other stakes. Purge the past, forgive the future, for each come too soon. Surrender only to this life, this day, this hour. Not because it does not constantly break your heart, but because it also beckons with beauty, startles with delight, if only we keep waking up. This is the gift we have been given. These body clothes, this heartbreak, this pulse, this breath, this light, these friends, this hope. Here we remember ourselves, all a part of it all, giving thanks and centering joy. Let us pause in stillness together. So may it be. Amen.
Good morning, my friends. My name is Elizabeth Walker, and I am the new chair of the Membership and Belonging team. Until recently, we were called the Newcomers Outreach Team, and we still do the work to welcome newcomers and help usher them into membership if and when they want that. But now we take the broader focus of belonging all the way through people's time at QUF. And so Rev Linda asked me to give my perspectives on membership and belonging. The past few years here at QUF have not been easy. I don't need to spell it all out, but the words pandemic, conflict, schism, membership decline, and budget deficit give a picture. Sometimes this picture comes with feelings of anxiety. This is the lens of scarcity and deficit. But I want to remind us that there is another lens through which to see the picture of who we are. When I remember who we were a year ago and how it felt to be a member here and compare it to how that feels today, there's a world of difference. Today, as Rev Linda has said, we are exhaling our collectively held breath. We are letting go of the fear of what will happen. We have excitement about all the classes and groups that are opening up this fall. The word that I would use for this feeling is not scarcity, but abundance. Yes, we still have a budget deficit, but we have an abundance of love and belonging. The Membership and Belonging team only has 2 people on it. We could for sure use some more as we head into this new fellowship year. But there is also an abundance there. Look around at all the good work that is going on in terms of belonging. Let me name some of this good work. As I do, raise your hand if you are one of the people doing this kind of work. First are the greeters and ushers who welcome us as we come each Sunday. Then all the people who speak to us from the pulpit, the preachers and worship assistants and announcers. Then the choir and all the other musicians. Then the tech people and web people who connect all of us who have a hard time getting here in person. Then the people who set up coffee hour and wash the dishes afterward, and those who teach and take care of our children. Then outside of Sunday mornings, all those who are setting up and teaching the also classes that we are so excited about signing up for in the coming weeks, as well as affinity groups and covenant groups, the organizers and leaders of all of them. And we see the people who set up potlucks and opening Sunday picnics, and all those who make and bring food and music to all those, and those on pastoral care who take care of us when we are sick, and those who make food to bring to those who need it. and the people who take care of the buildings and grounds, and those who do the work of governance and stewardship and finances to keep all this running, and of course, all those who do social and environmental justice work to make the world a better place. Really, you are all on the belonging team. You belong. You help the rest of us belong. We are grateful. And if in that list I missed the ways you contribute, I apologize. Come and tell me about it, please. And if you haven't figured out how to contribute your own talents to this village of QUF, we have a fix for that too. It's called the Volunteer Engagement Team. You can engage at the visitors table outside. There's one more task for you honorary members of the belonging team. I ask you to connect with the people you don't know. On Sunday mornings or at classes and meetings, if there are people you don't know, reach out and connect. Most people are here in large part because they have a need to belong. We all have a need to belong. We are human. It's a human need. Acting from our sense of abundance, we bring others in and thus increase our own sense of belonging. One more thing. The newcomer piece of our work on the membership and belonging team is still important. We still do that. We're having a Pathways to Membership class this fall. If you are new, or if you're one of those people who has held back from joining QUF for a while, we welcome you to explore becoming a member. The class is Saturday, October 19th. You are invited. I'll be hanging out at the visitors table after service if you want to talk or sign up. Thank you all for making this a place of belonging.
There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all I there is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
Get everything arranged here. Now, I wanted to mention, because I'm excited about it, that next week our friend Florence Caplow will be here to lead our service. And I just wanted to be sure everybody knew about that, because it's an exciting thing. She's here visiting. She'll be here in person. I'm looking forward to hearing her speak. I want to start with a poem by Rosemary Watolis Tromer called Belonging. And if it's true that we are alone, then we are alone together, the way blades of grass are alone but exist in a field. Sometimes I feel it, the green fuse that ignites us, the wild thrum that unites us, the inner hum that reminds us of our shared humanity. Just as 35 trillion red blood cells join in one body to become one blood, just as 136,000 notes make up one symphony, alone as we are, our small voices weave into one big conversation. Our actions are essential to the one infinite story of what it is to be alive. When we feel alone, we belong to that grand communion of those who sometimes feel alone. We are the dust that hopes, a rising of dust, a thrill of dust, the dust that dances in the light with all the other dust, the dust that makes the world. Many years ago, I was a part of Second Unitarian Universalist Church on the north side of Chicago back in the 1990s. And one Sunday, a member got up to share a reflection. Now, I don't remember why she was sharing that particular morning. I'm sure that Charlie, our minister, had invited her to tell a story for some reason. But I say this because the story has stuck with me very firmly since then. So Jean was telling about a time when she was driving with her daughter, who was 4 or 5 at the moment. They were listening to Sweet Honey in the Rock, and the song that was playing in the car that day was their version of On Children from the book The Prophet. Brief digression. This was back when virtually everyone I knew had a copy of The Prophet, right? Everyone had it on their coffee table. I'm not sure how many people actually read it, but everyone had it. Every minister I knew cited it at various times in their sermons. Just a few years earlier, I was doing weddings as a part-time job, and I had all but memorized On Marriage that was from that book. You know, love one another, but make not a bond of love, let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your souls, and on and on. It was perhaps the most popular wedding reading that I had in the services that I conducted. And I know that it was because so many people believed that they were the only ones who were using it in their weddings. They all wanted to be just truly unique. Anybody use it in their wedding? Just curious. Yeah, oh, we got one. Now, to be fair, Gibran's words captured the mood of the time. There was a good reason that everybody I knew had a copy, and as I noted, his words were often used in sermons and celebrations. In On Children, he tells us, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and the daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but they are not from you. And though they are with you, they belong not to you." Back to the church. Jean is telling us about listening to this song with her daughter in the car, and then recounts the conversation that they had. Her daughter said, "Mom, what is this song about?" And Jean began to explain to her, "It's about how each of us are our own persons. You don't belong to me, and Joseph doesn't belong to his mother and father," noting a family in the church. "You're your own person." Her daughter paused for a moment, considering this, and then in the way of the very young, she responded with the truth. "Well, that's just stupid. Of course I belong to you, and you belong to me, and we both belong to Mama," citing her other mother. "And it's silly to think that Joseph doesn't belong to his parents. Are you kidding me?" The wisdom of the young finds us all the time if we listen. A second story about belonging comes from when I was working with a congregation in Rainier Valley. We were having a gathering of people who were interested in joining the congregation or at least learning some more about it. As it turned out, Only one woman showed up at Lisa's house where we were meeting. They rented space, and so evening meetings often had to happen in people's homes. We had a lovely conversation with her, and at the end of it, it wasn't clear that she'd be joining. But Lisa and I, as we were chatting afterwards, before I headed home, as she and I chatted, I said, you can always tell when people are ready to join because they just start doing things. They start, when somebody's putting down tables, they come and help with that, or they stack chairs. That's how you know when somebody's really with you. Yes, and especially even when they haven't been asked to do so. So that following Sunday I was speaking, the congregation rented space from a Methodist church and met in the evenings. Every Sunday when they met, they would have a potluck, and before the service, they would have to get there early and put hymnals out because they couldn't leave their hymnals there through the week. So before the service, I greeted the newcomer who I had met a few days before, and onward we went through the service. When it was over, I was chatting with a couple people towards the front of the sanctuary, and volunteers were going through the pews and picking up all the hymnals to put them back into the cabinet at the back of the building. That same newcomer, I noted, had 3 or 4 hymnals in her hands, and she was walking towards the back. Lisa and I made eye contact, smiled and nodded with each other, and we knew that she had pitched in with us. But what does it mean, I asked, to belong? As we approach the fall and the program year of the congregation gets underway, September 8th, we'll be launching the Advancing Learning and Spiritual Opportunities program, as Dean mentioned, with classes and workshops of a wide array. The Religious Education program for children and youth will be underway again. And there's a picnic. Did you know there's a picnic? Who knew there was a picnic? Have you signed up? Have you let us know what you're bringing? It will be undoubtedly as splendid as it was last year. Since all of this is coming up, it's a good moment, I think, to reflect upon what it means to belong to a community and what it means when a community belongs to us. My colleague Laurel Hallman cites the work of Thomas Merton, a Trappist monk, for some insight about what it means to be a member of a community. She writes, Merton speaks of the, quote, vow of stability that the monk makes, renouncing the vain hope of, quoting again, wandering off to find the perfect monastery. Though it is more implicit than explicit, we in the liberal church make a similar vow. In Joseph Barth's words, when you become a Unitarian Universalist, you are agreeing that you won't leave. Once a commitment is made to the liberal church, it is a commitment to stay, a moral commitment to diversity, and a religious commitment to live within the tensions inherent in liberal faith. It's the liberal church's equivalent to the Cistercian vow of stability. It is the recognition that other communities of faith will very much have the same problems. This is not to say that there aren't reasons to step away from a community that you may join. Of course there are. But there is a value in continuing on, in finding the way through. The short sentence from Bernard Lonergan that I noted last week when talking about conversation applies to community too. He says, be attentive, be intelligent, be responsible, be loving, and if necessary, change. I'll note that belonging isn't always an easy thing. We know that in this community pretty dang well. I don't know a single person overall who hasn't left a friendship or a marriage or a community at one time or another. We change, other people change, institutions change, and sometimes it is utterly the right choice to leave. That said, Belonging to each other in a family, in a congregation, in a friendship requires love and grace and tolerance and patience. And in my experience, it is almost always worth every bit of effort you put into it. The essence of belonging to each other, of belonging to a community such as this one, is captured, I think, in our willingness to step up, to join, to take part. There is an amazing power in joining together and creating, and I use that word very specifically. It is not discovering, but building and making the bonds of caring and commitment that stretch deeper than our disagreements. The power of joining together in creating the bonds of caring and commitment that stretch deeper than our disagreements. To belong means to make a commitment to one another. It means seeking to love more deeply, to try to understand more fully, and to judge less harshly. Spiritual practices we all need in our lives. Belonging to this community, I think, is acknowledging what you value and how you express those values. It is committing yourself to the life of the institution and to the community that lives within it. It is affirming that wonderful and sometimes very uncomfortable diversity that actually enriches us all. It is to the commitment to creating a deeper community, a deeper sense of solidarity with each other and with the larger world. Belonging is believing in the power that our love for one another can have in bridging what seems to be impossible differences. Community is always a work in process, and it is always changing. And I'll close with these words from my colleague Rebecca Parker, who reminds us that when we choose to bless the world, we are drawn into community and into belonging. She says this means the endeavor shared, the heritage passed on, the companionship of struggle, the importance of keeping faith, the life of ritual and praise, the comfort of human friendship, the company of earth, the chorus of life welcoming you. She says, none of us alone can save the world. Together, and I add together in community, that is another possibility waiting. So may it be. Amen. Let's sing our closing song, number 131 in the great hymnal, Love Will Guide Us. Our closing words by Barbara Cheatham. And now we take our leave. Before we gather here again, may each of us bring happiness into another's life. May we be surprised by the gifts that surround us, and may each of us be enlivened by constant curiosity. And may we remain together in spirit until the hour when we meet again. So may it be. Join me in our chalice extinguishing words, please. We extinguish our flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment, or the power of transformation. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.